Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name's Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the afternoon show, Loshak in the Bag show for Monday, May 21st. Interesting time of the sports betting season. A small slate of MLB games tonight, but Jimmy the Bag and I both have a healthy number of plays, and I might throw on some others. In the morning show, of course, there were a lot of leans that I was thinking about in MLB. Might throw them on there. Jimmy the Bag and I also trying to make heads or tails of the NBA game, and we did both wind up giving a pick in the morning show. And in the NHL game, we also wound up giving a pick in the NHL game. Of course, last week, for some reason, Jimmy the Bag is not proud and excited about his analysis of the Preakness Stakes. Maybe there's something going on in his private life we don't know about. But as far as his public picks are concerned, he nailed it again in the Preakness. He had Justify to win, had tenfold in two matchup props, and had Quip in one matchup prop. There's only 8 horses in the race, so it's not like the Derby where you can have 50 different matchup props, which brings Jimmy now to a record in his public plays in horse racing in these shows, 8-1. Obviously, a lot of those are correlated, but for some reason, Jimmy the Bag not jumping through hoops, excited about what he's done for us in this show in terms of the Triple Crown races so far.
Well, I'm proud of the breakdown. I'm proud of the breakdown. I just had a tough weekend, and it took me a while to kind of have peace with it. But you and the great cappers on our chat have given me that boost.
I mean, 8-1. Jimmy the Bag, 8-1.
I expect to succeed on the big races.
Yes,
it's very difficult. It was easier again because there was so much rain, but it was very difficult not to play that whole card. And I'm telling you, if you play every race and don't just focus on the races where you really like something, you're just gonna lose in the end. That's horse racing. It's you'll lose in the end. And but before we go any further, our pal Yanks Guy 30 is looking for a shout out for his grandma.
Oh shit.
She lost her battle this past weekend and was a true warrior. Sorry, I read that.
Man.
Sorry, she lost her battle with cancer this past weekend. Was a true warrior until the very end. You laughing at how
I'm laughing at the fact that you're 85% professional so far, but you're gonna flub up once in a while.
I was assuming that she was beside him watching the
I
show,
understand.
And so I did screw this up.
Yes.
I screwed this up.
Okay, that's
give
okay.
Me another
Yes.
chance.
Okay.
Give me another chance.
Go ahead.
Okay. Can we get a shout out for my grandma? She lost her battle with cancer this past weekend. Was a true warrior till the very end. Talking Yanks together was our bond. That is
super awesome. Listen, I can't make heads or tails of life and death. I just know that if you have any kind of positivity in your life, that's something to be thankful for. You know what I'm saying?
And the grandma that's into sports.
Oh my God, I didn't know any of my grandparents at all. Here's a shout out to Yanks Guy 30's grandma. Had a great life. Who knows what's on the other side? I certainly don't. But anytime there's any kind of positivity that I hear about in this life, cheers to that. Motherfucking cheers to that. Absolutely. Yanks Guy 30. Shout out to his grandma. And, sounds like she had a long, relatively satisfying life, which is more than any of us could hope for, right? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And she had a great relationship with her grandson.
Oh, there you go.
Yanks
there you
Guy
go.
Passed the baseball down to him.
I got no grandparents, no parents, no cousins, no aunts, no uncles, no nothing. Literally, no nothing. All I got is I got Jimmy the Bag and JK here. Maybe JK would want to be my friend. Look, JK said, no, people think I'm kidding. You know, I rarely, once in a while, I'll say something that isn't actually true, but then 2 seconds later, I'll say, no, that was just a joke. Yes. If I don't say, no, that was just a joke 2 seconds later, it's absolutely true. I don't got jack shit for family. JK says, so I couldn't watch the morning show, but I watched the recap this afternoon. I'm sad I didn't see Positive Pete live in all his glory. JK, maybe we can be friends in real life, and you could be like my brother or something.
But you have way more than JK. We have so many guys. We have a family, a low-back family here that loves you so much.
I guess so, but I don't.
And we have Kelly's Tavern. If everything
yes,
goes wrong,
that's right. That's right. The closest thing that I have to a grandma I can talk sports with is the guys at Kelly's Tavern. Although he hasn't been back here for a while.
He's been gone for a while.
Yeah, he has been gone for a while. So motherfucker.
What the hell? What happened to him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Oh, Bill Buttlicker says you got me too, Pete. That was listen. I mean, if I was trapped in a prison with Bill Buttlicker, it probably wouldn't be that bad of a time. There'd be a lot of jokes, funny shit.
You'd get your ass licked.
Yeah, exactly. Jamail Heron says, picks, get to the picks. Where's Native Queen at? We need it. All right, let's get to the picks. Let's get to the picks. All right, so.
Yeah, and I was reading that in my head, when we get shout-outs, I think
of
the
course.
person's right beside. So, and I, coming back to this show, basically was the first time I've been in a good mood since I left the show Friday, because my picks didn't start losing till about 25 minutes after I left the show. So this is the best I felt since Friday late show.
Well, that's great. Again, Jimmy the Bag. Yeah, you had a losing day in MLB on Friday, but overall you're up. Overall, I'm up in MLB, and yes, absolutely. Okay, a lot of Brendan Cummings says I'm not fading the Yankees. Okay, so Jamiel Heron. I'm kind of liking my picks. Longtime viewers of the show know that on Monday is by far my best day. That's been the case my entire handicapping career, even going back to like day one. I'm kind of liking my picks today, although that might be a jinx in it. Oh shit! I opened up the basketball. Hold on, let me just open up the MLB sheet here, and I will review all the picks that we gave in the morning show. Jimmy the Bag and I. Let me just let this open up here. Okay, picks that I gave. I did take Minnesota -1 at -150 with Barrios. Obviously, that's a big line, but Detroit has a dog shit bullpen. Barrios is coming off a great start. Feels like he's about to go on, at least a run of 2 or 3 nice starts. So Minnesota -1. I did take Philly -1 as well. Jimmy the Bag took that also. A lot of people in the morning show were also liking Philly. A few people on Atlanta, but I took Philly -1. I did take Arizona -1 at +116. Greinke against the other guy. Who's starting for Greinke against Anderson, right? And
Chase, yeah.
Yeah, and Arizona obviously has been they've lost like 12 out of the last 13, something like that. -110 Nostratoda was ahead of that curve, but a lot of people were suggesting that this might be a good spot to take Arizona, including Nostratoda himself. I don't know if you caught that. I saw that in the replay. No. I missed that comment, but Nostratoda himself said that Arizona was a play that he was liking today. So I took that one, Arizona -1. I also took the Yankees on the second half money line -175. No matter what happens with Bartolo Colon or who's starting for Texas, the other fucking Yankees, Tanaka. The Yankees should have a huge edge in the second half with that bullpen, that lineup. So I took Yankees second half money line -175. I also took Miami Marlins first 5 innings team total over 2 -106. That's just a no-brainer fade of Vargas. And this is the closest thing I've seen recently to just low-hanging fruit. It's one of those plays where Vargas obviously is very, very hittable. If it pushes, fine. If he holds Miami to 1 run or 0 runs in 5 innings, tip your cap to him and say that was low-hanging fruit. And I lost. I also took Arizona first 5 innings team total over 2 -105. Arizona has not been hitting, but Anderson has been very hittable this year, and it feels like a spot where Arizona's bats might pick things up. And then I took 2 second half unders, KC and St. Louis 3.5 -115, and Miami Mets 2.5 under 3.5 -125. Jimmy the Bags picks from this morning, again, also on Philly with us at -114. He's on the money line. He also took Baltimore on the money line -101 with Cashner going. Now, Cashner obviously is a big question mark, but it does seem like Baltimore just has a big edge in the lineup, and they're going up against Santiago, who looks like he should be very vulnerable. Jimmy also took Miami on the first half, but not on the team total over like I did. He just took the money line at +117. And then Jimmy took 2 totals, which have me nervous. I'll be honest with you, Jimmy the Bag. He took the over 8 in Arizona-Milwaukee. Greinke against Chase Anderson. Kobe Valentine predicted an Arizona win here of 3-2. I'm thinking that Greinke's going to have a nice start. I'm thinking that Arizona will put up a few runs, but not necessarily be explosive. And Jimmy also took the over 7 in Colorado LA Dodgers, which is Marquez against Buehler. Dom Ricci loved that one. I don't know about that one. Marquez is obviously better on the road, and Buehler obviously is Buehler. Both those totals make me nervous, Jimmy the Bag.
You certainly can't get the line I got on the Dodgers.
Really? It moved
total.
up.
It's moved. You can only get -105s, -106. I got a +102.
Yes,
so
very nice.
Late money. But the opposite happened with Greinke in that game. Money was coming in on the under, and I could have got a much better line, about a maybe 8-cent, 9-cent move. But I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with those 2 plays. Greinke just went against him on Wednesday. What's up?
No, Nostratoda said, I'm just seeing one comment from him. He says, "Good eye, Pete, do you?" That sounds like I made some pick that he thinks is interesting, but not necessarily agrees with. I'm wondering what he's referring to here.
Yeah, that's haunting.
Yes, that is. I can't tell whether it's okay. A lot of great comments coming in. Anyway, I did want to just go over all of the picks that we gave, and I do, because my leans also going back to day one from handicapping for me have been more profitable than my actual picks for my top plays. These are the plays I was thinking about. A lot of people were suggesting that Washington might be a decent play. That is in my leans category at -1, -122. St. Louis. People were suggesting that St. Louis is due for some positive offensive regression. and that KC in general is terrible. Kennedy's very vulnerable. St. Louis -1, -142 is in my leans category. Also in my leans category is New York Yankees first 5 innings team total over 2.5 -130 to hit Big Sexy. We talked about that a lot in the morning show. There were some strong opinions saying Big Sexy just has no chance here against that Yankees lineup. Other people suggesting that he's getting movement in the strike zone and that he's going to be good. But that's the one play that I was going to come in here and say I made a decision on. I'm going to start. I might wind up converting all these plays to official picks, but I'm going to convert that one right now. New York Yankees, first 5 innings, team total over 2.5. If Big Sexy holds that line up to 2 runs or fewer in the first 5 innings, I don't like that one quite as much as some of my other picks, like the Vargas one, but that's a fearsome lineup. I know Big Sexy's a great guy. I know he's been doing great. I know he's got movement on his fastball. That's going to be a big challenge to hold him to 2 runs or less over 5 innings. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
I do know what you're saying. Nostratoda thinks there's a ton of value on the Rangers today. He's got him on the reverse run line.
Really?
He's got him on the first 5. He's not taking them full game, which I understand because of their terrible bullpen. But Nostratoda sees value with the fat man, and I can understand it. Tanaka should not be this big of a favorite on the road. But in saying that, I don't have the balls or the cash, I should say, to comfortably put it on Cologne. This is a game I'm uncomfortable with.
That's interesting. So does Nostratoda just think that the line is just too high, or does he think that Cologne is actually more likely than not to have a good start against this Yankees lineup?
Well, he says he's been day drinking, so I'm interested in hearing what he has to say. But he says, "Good eye on that D-backs." D-backs comment.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing. He's watching the show and day drinking, so I think there'll be a little more pizzazz to his comments, but I'm expecting him to say that Tanaka should not be this big of a favorite. And he even mentioned it a little bit on the early show that he's downgraded him in a big way.
I agree with that. I mean, I'm taking Yankees on the second half. I'm going to take him on the first 5 innings. Team total over. Anthony L says Big Sexy will have lots of movement on that fastball when they wind up in the second deck. Anthony L, not a believer in. And I'm not even. Maybe he doesn't get crushed, but you're talking about 3 runs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing it. Unfortunately, in the morning, I could have had. Hold on, let me just save this page here. In the morning, I could have had. Hold on one second. -130. Now I'm going to have to take -139. So New York Yankees, first 5 innings, team total over 2.5, -139. I was thinking about that. I will take it. I have to take it. That's the current line at Pinnacle. It's now up to a -140 at Heritage. I bet that one. I'm taking the New York Yankees, team total over 2.5, -139. We're going to review every game, Jimmy the Bag. But what else would you like to discuss that's interesting to you?
First off, our man Cornelius Kidwell is also on the Rangers money line in this game. It's interesting to see a pitcher like Bartolo, who was auto fade last year, turn into somebody that people are believing in against this excellent Yankees lineup. Yeah,
can you believe if you had showed me this Yankees lineup this year and showed me that Bartolo Colon was going to be starting against them with that first 5 innings team total, I wouldn't have believed you.
If you had told me that the Golden Knights would be in the Stanley Cup final, I would open hand slap you in the face.
Just goes to show you expect the unexpected, even in professional sports. That's also why you don't overbet your edges. That's why you never go all in. That's why you never bet half of your bankroll. That's why you bet size appropriately. Use the Kelly calculator at SBR tools to figure out what bet size would be appropriate based on your edge. But that's exactly why. Expect the unexpected. Right, Jim?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Tony Soprano says the only time I feel happy is when I'm on this show. Says I live for this show.
Join the fucking club, Tony Soprano. Join the fucking club, Tony Soprano. Join the fucking club. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to convince people that I deal with depression when all I have is what I am on camera, which looks happy. But I am happy right now, and it's not fake like it was in the morning show. You know what I'm saying? I am legitimately happy right now.
Yeah,
I do feel good. I feel great. I love Farouk Islam. I love Richard West. I love breaking down the Yankees team total overs. Mally Mal, Yanks guy, Tomarino Tomar, Kobe Valentine. Love all you guys.
All
right,
good.
Move on with the handicapping.
So Tomar says, and this is a game I want to talk about because I feel like I'm in a good spot, but he does make a nice point. I think Pivetta is just a different pitcher now, confident and double-digit strikeouts and back-to-back starts. But he is right. That was an Oriole team who hadn't seen him, and this is Tomar's comment. I'm on Atlanta plus 115. Pivetta is off 2 good starts, but the first was off a horrible start, and then the last start was against the Baltimore team that hasn't seen him. Atlanta has seen and hit Pavetta. Fultonevich has owned Philly this year. And I am thinking that we're getting on Pavetta right at the right time. Yes, Fultonevich 1-0, 2.12 ERA against Philadelphia, 3.74 ERA in 10 career appearances, 9 starts against them. But I feel like we're getting in early on Pavetta. There was a reason why they stuck with him through that horrible year last year. Also, he's a Canadian kid from Victoria, BC, and I always have a soft spot for those guys. But in saying all that, 11 strikeouts, 2 hits, and 1 run against the Orioles, and that was an offense that had just started to click. So yes, they hadn't seen him, but that's a very, very impressive setup. And our problem with Fultonevich is number of pitches. It's just taking him too long to get through the lineups, too long to get through orders, and but I definitely hear what Tomar said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily on Philly here because of Pavetta. I'm on it because of the spot and because of the line. If anything, the starting pitching matchup does make me a little bit nervous. I mean, I don't necessarily like betting against Fultonevich. I don't really necessarily like betting on Pavetta off of 2 good starts. I agree with you. Maybe I'm getting suckered in by the line here. If it was minus 150, I'd be maybe less likely to go on it. All right,
no doubt about it. The line was very appealing. I got them at minus 114, and when you're getting a team that's 16-6 at home, I know the Braves are 17-8 on the road, but when you're getting a team that's 16-6 at home at a minus 114 line in a pitching matchup where I don't think the opposing team has an advantage with the Fultonevich Pavetta situation right now.
Yeah,
I feel real good.
Yeah. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Observer says Braves are a scary team. Absolutely. Do I ever feel comfortable betting against the Braves? No. But does that mean they're going to win every game and there won't be spots where there's some value betting against them? Probably yes, and we might have one tonight. All right, so I have converted the Yankees' first 5 innings team total over to an official play. Other plays I was thinking about adding on were I'm thinking about adding on Colorado, not necessarily on the money line, but the +1 line. At +1, they're just +112. I do see this one. Toby Valentine was saying he kind of likes Colorado in any spot where they're a juicy underdog, and I do feel like they have a nice pen. I know Justin Turner is back for the Dodgers, but I'm thinking about taking Colorado on the second half at +105, +1 at +112. Those are plays that I was thinking about. And the other play I was thinking about throwing on is St. Louis -1. Feels like they just should have a big edge here over KC. Do you have anything to say about any of those, Jim? Encourage me to go on them or not?
Well, first off, the Herman Marquez great numbers on the road and terrible numbers at home is just small sample size. So that was one of the reasons why I went on this over. I don't think just because he's not in his home park, he's going to pitch incredibly well. But I also think that Buehler is, we're starting to see him. We're starting to get tape on him. He's starting to, I think he's going to be hit a little harder. And actually, it's, his last couple starts have not been nearly as good. So I can understand the Rockies play. The Cardinals, I just don't. I mean, yes, this looks like an easy spot for the Cardinals, but you with the odds, you almost have to take them on the super run line.
Yeah, so funny. Pete's Mustache, commenter named Pete's Mustache has fucking got stuck in the blender. I made it out. Few split ends, but I will be fine. That's the spirit. Pete's Mustache. Grit is the most important characteristic that any human being can have in life. Justin Searcy says Colorado gets smacked today. Okay. Jay Ryan says Philly is hitting the ball right now and coming back home to beautiful weather and a full house. I'm headed down to the game. Have a great time, Jay Ryan.
Oh,
Anthony
nice.
L. likes St. Louis. Team total, first 5 innings over, and that, of course, would be to hit Kennedy. That actually didn't come into my view, but now I'm thinking that might be a nice play.
That might be
2.5 though, -107. I mean, Kennedy is definitely vulnerable.
Yeah, and is it time? I mean, I feel like Matt Carpenter's had 4 games? 4 games where he's turning it around, maybe 5 games, but I need to see a little more from Matt Carpenter and more from Fowler. I mean, at one point, about a week and a half ago, they had the 2 lowest batting averages for qualified batters in the National League. So I just don't know if I can trust the Cardinals to get me 3 runs at this point. But I do think that's a pretty good play.
Yeah. All right, you know what I think I'm going to do? Mikolas is coming off of a kind of a crappy start, but I kind of like him. I will throw on also St. Louis -1. I'm going to throw on St. Louis -1. KC is just a crappy team. There's even people who are saying that the Yankees cashing as a big road favorite against KC recently isn't that impressive because of how shitty KC actually is. So I'm going to take a shot here with St. Louis -1. Again, if they win by 1, I push. And if it's a loss, I will lose a unit and a half roughly. But I'm going to take St. Louis -1. The money line part will be at UWager. At UWager -195 combined with the run line part, which will be, let's see, plus 100, plus 100, plus 100 at a few places. Plus 100. So, yeah, this line is, it's gone up. In the morning, it would have been 142. Now it's probably be about -147 or so. Again, the money line part -195. The run line part at Pinnacle is -102. Heritage has plus 100, and the Greek has plus 100 as well. So I'll take that St. Louis -1 at about -147. I'm doing it.
I get it. I'm just uncomfortable with those kind of big favorites,
Definitely.
but I get it. We have a new commenter.
No way.
Herman Aparicio, who says his cousin turned me on to the show, says he's on board, man.
Oh, thank you
Part
so
of the
much.
Low Bag family.
Thank you so much, Herman Aparicio. We'll do our best to entertain you. We'll do our best to do great analysis. We'll do our best to give you some winning picks. And of course, one thing I can guarantee, there will be a smattering of jokes and love in every show. That one we can guarantee. The other stuff, we can only say that we'll do our best. All right, Jimmy the Bag. I am Walter Trotter says great breakdown. So hit the fucking like button, fam. Shout out to Walter Trotter the third. Walter Trotter the third. All right, let me see. What else do we have here going on, Jim?
Yeah, Twatty Latte talking to Cody saying, how about the first 5 at 3.5? I'm always interested to see what Twatty likes. He's so good with totals. Seriously saying Ozuna has been ass. He certainly has been. We thought that was a big bat being included in the lineup. Clearly batting behind Stanton gave him extra opportunities. But I expected more. I just don't trust this Cardinals offense enough. But I think you're in a good spot there. And then are you going to make a move on these Rockies?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah.
God, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that the Dodgers are improving, right? Obviously, this guy Buehler is probably going to throw a good start. Marquez, better on the road than at home, but still, not lights out pretty much ever. I think I'm going to pass on that one, although it is a lean. It's officially in my leans category. Colorado +1 at +112. I think I'm going to hold off, and the Colorado second half at +105. I mean, I like the Colorado bullpen. That is definitely tempting to take Colorado on the second half +105, but I think I'm going to hold off for now, although the show's not over. I might have, and of course I will, anything I tweet out goes on my official records. You remember, Jim, the Detroit game where Felix Hernandez was starting? I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when Felix Hernandez was starting against Detroit? So you had the Detroit on the first 5 innings team total over. I had first 5 innings team total over and full game team total over, so I cashed on those. But I tweeted out Detroit -1 at the last minute at +250, looking like it was going to cash the whole way through, and then they blew it. But it's all right.
They were up 3-0 after 2 innings.
Yeah.
Thank God for those 2 plays, because I got destroyed otherwise on that card, because I had the full game over and the Detroit team total over.
Yeah.
And you pushed me into that team total over, so I'm very thankful.
I mean,
for
just a low-hanging fruit type play. If Felix was anywhere close to being vulnerable, as he was, it was just going to cash, and we did. And in retrospect, I think taking Detroit -1 at +250
was a nice play.
Yeah, it's just the bullpen blew it. That's what happens in MLB.
God. I think we just got to solely focus on Detroit's first 5s. I've had 3 or 4 times where I thought I had this beautiful dog line in there. Fucking bullpen comes in and ruins it. My man Jake Lee says, I think Dodgers over is a good move by Jimmy today.
Okay. Let's see. That line. Let's
Blake
check.
Kersey also on Dodgers over 7.
Very nice, Jim. You got it at +102 at Pinnacle. Now it's up to -109, which is very nice. We'd still be able to give you -105 at Bookmaker. That's why line shopping is so important. Let's check out some of these line moves. I was definitely also thinking vaguely about under 8.5. Something fun. It was so
Dan
fun.
Kelly, we haven't seen Dan.
Shit,
long.
Dan Kelly.
And he comes in and says, "Am I late for the royal wedding viewing party?"
Oh shit, Dan Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us once again. I love Dan motherfucking Kelly. Thank you so much for being back. Dan Kelly, in case you missed the beginning of the show, I'm taking a shot with Arizona. That is endorsed by -110. No Stratota. I took them first 5 innings, team total over, and -1. Also taking a shot with Minnesota as a big favorite, but I took them run line -1, -150. And as you said, Jim, you have to focus on Detroit first 5. So even if somehow it's like tied or Detroit is up, in the first 5 innings. You got the Detroit bullpen. Then Jimmy and I are both on Philly. I'm on Philly -1 at +129. Jim's on Philly on the money line. Some debate here. It's not fun to go against the Braves. Not fun to go against Fultonavich. The Yankees game, highly debated game. Obviously, should the Yankees be this big of a favorite? Not exactly sure, but I did take them on the second half money line at 175, and I also decided to take the Yankees first 5 innings team total over 2.5 -139, and I also threw on a couple of second half unders. KC St. Louis, Miami Mets, both at 3.5. I also threw on the Miami first 5 innings team total over to hit Vargas. Jimmy the Bag also likes Miami on the first 5 inning money line, and now you're all caught up. Dan Kelly, thanks for joining us. Dan Kelly, love that guy.
I do love that guy. It seems like we might have two Tony Sopranos in the chat today.
I mean, the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. The more the merrier. Bring them on. Bring them on. The more the merrier. And we should have 2 Donald Trumps. And as far as I'm concerned, we should have 2 or 3 or 4 Lou Skunts. Why not?
One Tony Soprano doesn't have a picture, and
yes,
certainly comments that the Tony Soprano of old maybe wouldn't endorse.
Yes. Whoever is creating double profiles here, I don't know if you take requests. But if you do take requests, I wouldn't mind having a second You Dumb Porn Ratanafacti.
Yeah,
that would be nice. That'd be nice. Anyway, welcome to the real Tony Soprano. Welcome to the fake Tony Soprano. And welcome to any other Tony Sopranos that happen to pop up through the course of this show or any other shows. Well, the more the merrier.
One of these Tony Sopranos certainly seems aroused by you.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right. So what else do we have going on here, Jimmy the Bag and MLB?
Well, when I looked through, Friday was a real bad day for me. And Friday, I had trouble with the card all morning. Mm-hmm. I still came in and made a bunch of plays, and I just didn't see clearly. It was a weird day. There was terrible pitching and then terrible weather. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't put it all together, and when we started doing our shows together, I did terribly on Fridays, and I started being more consciously aware of that, and that it really bothered me that I had another terrible Friday. But you're right. Today I feel clear. I'm seeing things clear, and I really like my plays. And I know that doesn't just equate to cash, but I like the Phillies. I feel confident there. I'm happy with the Marlins first 5 at +117. I'm not taking a team total. I'm just fading Vargas, and I'm getting a plus line, and the Marlins bullpen won't screw it up for me. I am fine with the Diamondbacks and Brewers. I know that everything's gone against me, but that doesn't scare me that much in Major League Baseball like it would in NBA when the market goes against me. I feel like they just saw Greinke, and they had great at-bats against him, and I do believe that Chase Anderson will continue to be worse. And they were hiding him for 2 weeks. And when we see teams hide pitchers, there's always a reason why they've done it. So we have 2 pitchers I'm fading here. I got Chase Anderson and Vargas. Both have been hidden by their teams for the last 2 weeks. And we remember the Indians were hiding Tomlin. And then whenever Tomlin would pitch, he would get lit up. So I understand that the market's gone against me in this play, but I'm still fine with it. I'm happy that I've stayed off this Yankees-Rangers game. I don't think Tanaka should be that big of a favorite, but it's very difficult to fade the Yankees in any city at any time. Orioles -101. What was the line movement in the Orioles?
You got -101. Let's check. Oh, dead on where it was in the morning. Still, best line would be -101 at Pinnacle. No movement since the morning. Interesting.
And then my man Observer saying, Jimmy, what is the reason for taking the Phillies today? I know that Tomar's made good points about how the Orioles haven't seen Pivetta, but the last 2 starts by Pivetta have been excellent. And here is a pitcher in Fultonavich who, yes, he's had the Phillies number, but it takes him 100+ pitches to get through 5 innings, and Pivetta has back-to-back double-digit strikeouts, is coming home. This is a team that's 16-6 at home, and I'm getting them almost to pick them at -114, so I really like it. I really like it.
All right, so the only other play that, I do have a vague lean to the under in Detroit, Minnesota, but I'm going to pass on that one. Again, vague lead to Colorado at +1 and a bit of a stronger lean to Colorado on the second half at +105. And the only other play that I'm seriously considering is just taking Washington -1. It feels like this is a good spot for Washington. They're coming off the sweep. You know what I'm saying? San Diego is now coming into Washington. And, it's a big line, but Washington -1 would only be about 122 or something, -122 or something like that. That's really the only lean that I'm really on. I just can't tell if Washington is going to continue to suck here or not.
Yes. Let me just go back to my notes in that Nats game. First off, the Padres are playing good for the first time all year. And we saw what happened when the A's started playing well for the first time in, being multiple years. Same thing with the Padres. They went on a streak, a legitimate streak, and have continued it. Also, I know that everybody's noticed this Blue Jays team has fallen off, which is something I'd been saying throughout their wins in the beginning of the year, that they'll be lucky to win 75 games. And Kobe's right about that. Sorry to get off topic, but Donaldson's not worth anything at this point. We need Donaldson to start hitting. Padres, Nationals. I don't think that the Nationals are low hanging. I think that Erlin, that we should put a line through everything that he's done against the Nats. It's just too small of a sample size. And I think he's capable of having a nice start here. He's just not going to go many innings. But we know this Padres bullpen's getting better and better.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's just the Padres have a good bullpen. I think it's a good spot to take Washington, but I am going to pass on that one. Some other comments are coming in. Teddy B says, Loshak, I love the Rockies over 1.5. First 5 at plus 120. Wow.
That's a big, beautiful plus 120 on the first 5. And fading Walker Buehler's dangerous, but I kind of like it.
You do, huh? Well, you like the over, yeah.
I don't like it enough because I don't want to double up on the game, but I like where he's going.
Okay, all right. Let me see. Other comments coming in. I'm just looking at Anthony L says, I never bet big dogs on full game. First 5 is the way to go because shitty teams always have shitty pens. Yes, that is often the case, not always the case.
Call. Who said that?
Anthony L.
Yeah, you know what? I want to stick to that.
Yeah.
I want to just start sticking. Seriously, I've been burnt so many times with these teams like the Tigers blowing it late for me. I want to stick to that because these dogs kind of get hot early. You know what? I'm gonna for a while, for at least for the next few weeks, I'm gonna stick to that Anthony L. I think that's very, very sharp.
The other thing though is that you do pay, obviously with full games, you're getting reduced juice, and with market wide, with first 5 innings, you don't get reduced juice, you pay full juice, and the market tends to be a lot more uniform across. So you'll see like a 135, and you'll see another book have a 130, but you will pay higher juice for the first 5 innings. And I'm not entirely sure if I would agree that that shitty teams. Obviously, shitty teams are shitty, so they tend to have bad everything. You know what I'm saying? And bullpens tend to be overlooked. So a lot of times, shitty teams with super shitty bullpens have way worse bullpens than people are giving them credit for. But there are sometimes shitty teams with decent bullpens. I'm looking over my last 30 bullpens. How about this? The Brewers, right? Brewers are a shitty team. I have them as a top 5 bullpen.
But they shouldn't be a shitty team, and their bullpen is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, I love their bullpen, and Nabel's not even going to be their closer anymore.
Okay, tough guy. How about the Tampa Bay Rays? Are they a shitty team?
Yes.
All right, I have them as a top 10 bullpen easily over the past 30 days. Padres, Reds, Mariners, top 10 bullpens. Now, if you look down here, the Tigers over the past 30 days, I have the Tigers as the worst bullpen. Absolutely, second worst bullpen over the last 30 days. Oakland Athletics, Jim. You think they're a shitty? I don't think you think they're a shitty team.
I don't think they're a shitty team.
No, you don't.
And I love Blake Trinan.
Third worst bullpen over the last 30 days, Kansas City Royals. So yeah, obviously. So sure, there's a lot of correlation between shitty bullpens and shittiness in a team, just like there's a lot of correlation between shitty everything and shittiness in a
Definitely, and I clearly feel like I just have a vividness bias with the Tigers screwing me late.
And let's look at my full year. This covers the whole year, not last 30 days, but whole year. Two of the bottom 5 bullpens in my ratings here: Atlanta Braves and Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, teams on the rise. Teams on the rise for sure.
Not bad. Nice little bullpen, diversion. We did
it's
there, right?
Better than not bad. It's wonderful.
Education.
We're very thankful to have it. So let's. My man Jay Ryan, whom I love, said we talked about the Twins. Do we like the Twins? And why don't you hit that off?
I took the Twins -1. It's -150. Talking about shitty bullpens. Here we have a shitty team with the shitty bullpen, Detroit. The big question here is what's up with Berrios? Obviously, should he be priced as a -200 favorite? Obviously, he has a high upside. Obviously, after the Puerto Rico start, he had a bunch of terrible starts in a row, and then his last start was great. My sense is that in this spot on a Monday at home with Detroit and their shitty bullpen, it's okay for me. I didn't want to take -1.5, so I just took Minnesota -1. I wound up taking -150, and hopefully, I won't get burned on that. It's a risk, though. You're taking Berrios as a big favorite, and basically he's going to have one of his good starts. Otherwise, you could still cash, as Jimmy has said, because Detroit has such a bad bullpen. Maybe Berrios has a bad start. Minnesota will do to Detroit what Seattle did to Detroit when they were facing Felix Hernandez. But, yes, I did make Minnesota -1 at -150 as an official pick.
Yeah, what two things. First off, this Twins offense is just not what I expected this year. I expected Buxton to be an important piece, and I expected Sano to hit 30 homers and get 100 RBI. So both those things aren't happening. And then secondly, Blaine Hardy. God, I remember when last year when the Tigers traded away J.D. Martinez and they, they were hitting 840, 850 OPS versus lefties. And I was like, wow, watch that, the bottom fall out of that. And it never did. And this team continues to hit with this makeshift lineup. They continue to hit without Cabrera. They're 9-9 this month. And I'm a Gardenhire fan. I've been impressed with this Tigers team. What's Blaine Hardy going to give us? That's the question. And I bet you he gives something good because he's a lot like LeBlanc. LeBlanc came in and was, he was a reliever and he looked good for the first little bit. And I expect Hardy to look good for the first little bit. Overall, he's thrown 8 innings, allowed 9 hits, 7 Ks, 3 runs, 3 walks. I think that's pretty much what you're going to get. 17 career relief appearances against the Twins, post 3.78 ERA. They probably don't have a ton of tape on him. So yeah, I'm off this game because 1, I think Berrios will pitch well, and 2, I don't trust the Twins offense, and 3, this Tigers team has a ton of heart, and so maybe one of your patented Twins second half plays would be the most appealing.
It would be, yeah. Here we go. Very, very interesting. Tomarino Tomor says, I can see backing Philly at the current line, but not, in my opinion, at minus 125. And Nostratota says at minus 125, I would have passed yes, but at minus 108, I'm on it. Best of luck. And again, the current line is about minus 112 or minus 113, and I did take minus 1. Philly on the minus 1 line. Here we go. King Rail jumping in with some comments on NBA. We will get to that in a second. A very interesting handicapping situation. King Rail likes first half over 100. Jimmy the Bag gave over 99 earlier as one of his plays. King Rail also likes Celtics first half plus 4.5. Celtics money line and plus 7. And I was thinking that way as well. I was thinking, all right, we obviously saw this major, massive blowout by the Cavs. Well, we'll get to this in the NBA, but that's how I was thinking about. And also King Rail likes largest lead of the game, under 17.5, only if you have the balls to take this one. Interesting. Oh, and he says also lost a cousin to ALS. Will everyone take $5 and donate to ALS? Absolutely. Here's a shout out to your cousin King Rail. Very, very sad on that one. And we will discuss that a lot more, the handicapping picks a lot more in the NBA segment of this show. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Let me see. Arthur Mead Jr. says, good evening, Peter Loshak and Jimmy the Bag. I have a serious question because of the Supreme Court ruling will Pinnacle and Bet365 accept players from the United States. My guess is yes. Not initially, but my guess is yes. But the real answer is who knows. We'll see how it all shakes out. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it all shakes out. And by the way, if it shakes out that SBR is no longer a viable business, please someone give me a job, right? You know what I'm saying? The reason why I'm not a millionaire, everyone knows the story. I lent my life savings to friends. They screwed me. I'm recovering a few years ago. That's why I don't have $1 million in the bank as I would have. Jimmy the Bag, do you mind if I just do it? If SBR shuts down, anyone who wants to offer me a job, my answer is yes.
Yeah, well, we're going to show up. Regardless of Chi-Town Beatdown being on, we're showing up at Kelly's Tavern. We're going to have our computers, and we're going to be ready to cap and drink.
All right, so I guess that's about it in MLB. Anything else you want to discuss, Jim? Anything else you want to add?
No, but I feel good about the card, and it was nice to see my record still being at plus 9.8 units. Cause
better than mine.
All I can remember is how bad that goddamn Friday was.
Yeah.
And then I thought I had cleaned up all that terrible day. I thought I cleaned it up with $150 exactor bet in the Preakness. And one thing about horse racing is that, and it's about all gambling. And my dad reminded me of that after I lost that race. You have to be able to enjoy losing to some extent, and you can't let it just completely destroy you like I do sometimes. If you do that, then you're just not made for this, and you're not going to enjoy it in the long run, and you got to enjoy the ride.
Yes.
And that's one thing I was telling people, that I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed coming 3 feet, from a 42 to 1 exactor, but when I woke up in the morning, I was upset.
Yeah, and that's also why, I can't say it enough, that's why you want to bet size appropriately, right? There are very few bets where your actual edge warrants a 10% of your bankroll bet. You got to be very careful. Bet size appropriately. And one thing you will notice, if you really do start to bet size appropriately, 1%, 2%, 2.5%, 3% of your bankroll, you will start to realize that you don't sweat out and you don't feel bad over loss. And you can see them a lot more clearly. And it turns sports betting from a stressful thing into a fun and enjoyable thing. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yes, and that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's
Yes.
what we want to do here, and that's why we have been succeeding overall, is because we got a family type crew here,
Yes.
and we care about each other, and we care about moving forward together. And Ryan Morales says, please don't go anywhere.
Okay, well,
guys.
you know who your mouth to God's ear is what I say. Someone earlier asked about the Cardinals bullpen. I have the Cardinals bullpen as bottom 10, but not bottom 5 as of right now. So a subpar bullpen overall, but not one of the absolute worst bullpens in the entire league. And let's just review all the games, and then we'll go into NHL and NBA. San Diego, Washington. That's going to be a pass for both Jimmy and I. Atlanta, Philly. We're both on Philly. I'm taking Philly -1. Jim's taking Philly on the money line. Miami Mets. Jim and I are both betting on Vargas to get hit. Jim's taking Miami first 5 innings money line. I'm taking Miami first 5 innings team total under, and over. And I also threw on the second half under 3.5 -125 in that one. Arizona, Milwaukee. I'm taking Arizona 2 ways. I took Arizona -1, and I took Arizona first 5 innings, team total over 2. Yankees, Texas. I'm taking the Yankees 2 ways. First 5 innings, team total over 2.5, -139, and second half money line, -175. Detroit, Minnesota. I'm taking Minnesota -1, -150. Baltimore, White Sox. Jim's taking Baltimore money line, -101. KC, St. Louis. I did take St. Louis -1, and I also took the second half under on that one, also at 3.5. Colorado Dodgers, Jim's taking the over 7 on that. And in the Arizona Milwaukee game, of course, Jim's also taking the over 8. We'll see how that turns out. I am on the Arizona team total over on the first 5 innings, but not on the full game. Jim's on the over 7 in Colorado Dodgers, and for me, Colorado second half +105. Very, very tempting, but I guess for now, I'm going to stay off it. All right, let's get into it, Jimmy the Bag. You ready?
I almost am ready.
Oh, anything else you want to?
Yeah, Kendall Ashby says betting sports is just like day trading. I have a question for you. Says you win some, you lose some, you pull from the markets and give back to the markets. Just try your best to stay in the green, hit 60%. And I hear that, Kendall Ashby. One thing, though, is what do you think about it? In the stock markets, you're the house, and in sports betting, there's a house that takes a cut, and that's a very difficult part of what we're doing in comparison to.
I mean, the stock market they take a cut as well, but in theory, the stock market is a positive sum game, whereas sports betting is a zero sum game overall, a negative sum game from the perspective of the bettor, which doesn't mean that you can't have an edge. It just means that you're betting into a negative sum game, whereas the stock market is in theory a positive sum game long term, and that's a huge difference. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, so yes, most people should approach sports betting recreationally, which is not to say that some people don't have an edge, and which is not to say that some people don't make money long term. The other thing to keep in mind is that it's impossible to make a lot of money in sports betting without a big bankroll.
Yes.
You have to see your profits in sports betting as a percentage of your bankroll, not as an absolute dollar amount. All right, so let's move on to NBA. In the morning show, I did give Boston first half team total over 48 +108. Jim did give first half over at 99, and now I'm assuming that yes, that line has moved up. It's 100 at Heritage. Wow, 99.5 everywhere else. So a half point move there in your favor on the first half over. That's nice to see. I took Boston first half team total over 48 +108. You know, my sense is here that this is going to be obviously a lot closer game. Cleveland got it out of their system, the big blowout. Boston, they're going to come out here focused and pissed. They're probably going to play tough defense, but they're also probably going to do a lot better offensively. And I am definitely leaning Boston at +7. I also think it's a little bit curious that the line has not moved at all, Jimmy the Bag. It opened at 7. Now it's dead on 7. I don't know if that means that no one is betting this or if that there's huge money on both sides. My lean would be to Boston here. I'm assuming the public is hitting Cleveland pretty hard. And if there is any sharp money, it's on Boston plus the points.
That's what I would expect too, but I'm not going to put my money on it. I found this a difficult game
Mm-hmm.
until we talked it out on that early show, and then I think that I can hit this first half over and the full game can go under.
Mm-hmm.
I especially think that if the Cavaliers blow out the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do think that Hill, J.R. Smith. Now, I used to be a fan of George Hill, and I was disgusted at his play with the Kings in the first 3 quarters of the year. And then he's still a hurt bag. He's still, dealing with back issues, dealing with problems. But he at one point was a good on-ball defender.
Mm-hmm.
J.R. Smith and Korver have never been, and I don't know why the Cavs didn't go out and get a defensive somebody to help LeBron, because clearly when LeBron is handling a top scorer, he's going to shut them down, which is what he's done to Jaylen Brown. The Cavs are very capable of smashing the Celtics team again. I'm much, much more comfortable being on this total. And I know I've harped on it, but I was shocked to hear the amount of cappers saying this series was over.
Mm-hmm.
And Searcy was saying, and I watched Searcy on the roundtable saying, "What are you guys talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
Saying this series is not over.
Mm-hmm.
And then Searcy got, it was like, they were like, are you watching this series, Searcy and stuff like that? Like this is a series that's going to go down. Now, can any of these teams win on the road? And the Celtics don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavs have to at some point, and that's basically what I think this will come down to. So I expect the Cavaliers to win. I expect them to win comfortably. That 7-point difference is just a little too high where they can be up 13, empty the bench late, and only win by 6 or 8. So I'm very comfortable with the first half over. And I know that Brad Stevens will come up with a plan to try to get Horford away from Tristan Thompson, because clearly that's been the change in the series.
Mm-hmm. And some player props coming in, some player prop suggestions. Dwayne Seymour likes LeBron assists over 10.5. Is that really LeBron's
Wow.
over-under on assists? LeBron over 10.5. Scotty Rock Forever likes Celtics first half plus 4.5. Hit the button. King Rail also liking the Celtics early as well. I'm liking the Celtics on the first 5 innings. Team total over 48, plus 108. Walter Trotter III, total 3-pointers made by Jason Tatum over 1.5. Over 1.5 3-pointers made by Jason Tatum. That sounds good to me.
That sounds appealing.
Yes.
What did he get at that?
I don't know. But Drunk Conversation likes NBA Cavs first half, -7. Braun over 9 first quarter, and Love over 10.5 rebounds. So Drunk Conversation expecting the Cavs to roll again, and liking Cavs player props overs. Interesting.
Wow. I think you guys are sharp.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Tatum plays. I wonder, Walter, what are you getting? What's the juice on that play? I think that's pretty nice.
I don't know. It's definitely very interesting. We'll see how it turns out. Tomarino Tomor, always with a very prudent and thought out comments here. Boston was much more upset with their defense than offense in Game 3. I think the under has some value. Boston isn't the same offensively on the road. So Tomarino Tomor expects Boston to clamp down on defense here, not to try to improve what they did on offense. So maybe my play first half 48 plus 108 is not a great play, but that's still a relatively modest, team total for the first half. You know what I mean? I mean, if Boston doesn't get to 48 in the first half, things probably aren't going that well for them,
I agree. And Dwayne Seymour is the first one to go with the under on LeBron's totals.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's very interesting. Dwayne Seymour thinking under 33. And then Nostratola says, in the end, the Warriors are just too good to beat in the 7-game series, in my opinion. And it certainly feels that way, but I'm very excited to cap that game for tomorrow's show.
Wow. Josh Picard says Boston sucks, like Loshak's 50-50 capping skills. That is complete bullshit. Boston does not suck. There's no way they got this far of sucking. Sure, they got blown out in their see what I'm doing here? Not bad as a professional comedy. Sure, they got blown out in their last game. They fucking 2 games ago blew out the Cavs twice at home. Saying Boston sucks is absolutely ridiculous. Total bullshit, Josh Picard. Thanks for the comment, but I have to disagree with you on that one. Boston sucks. No way. All right, move on.
Nick Doss says Boston will come out aggressive. They'll tighten up their defense. I think that's an interesting point, that they were so upset about their defense. I just think that the Cavs are going to come out shooting. They're going to come out and push the pace, and the Celtics can't just turn it into a crawl. They're going to have to defend and spread the floor and hit some shots, and they're going to have to. They're going to have to drive and kick, and I think they're going to have to score to win this game.
Richard West says Boston team total under. Don't like to hear that. Don't like it when I make a pick and then Richard West comes in. So he's talking about full game, but highly correlated with the first half, Jim.
Yes, that's
Don't like to hear that.
That's concerning. Richard West is a sharp guy, so that's concerning for sure.
Josh PK Josh says, "Relax, Loshak, ego, LOL." Yes, Josh P. Gosh, you just set up a joke for you right there. If you set up a joke in front of me, I'm gonna knock it out of the park most of the time. So thank you for setting that up for me, Josh PK Josh. Although I would also disagree with that. Boston doesn't suck. They certainly don't suck.
They could make
preposterous.
The NBA finals.
Yes, absolutely.
But talk about a team with heart. I mean, this is losing their two best players and then not worrying about it. Respect.
Dan Kelly says, I'm on the Cavs -2 second quarter. Okay.
Oh, wow. Keep an eye on whatever Dan Kelly's doing.
Absolutely. -110. Nostota says, people always remember what they saw last. Team is never as bad as they look, never as good as they did last time out. Absolutely right. Okay, so I think all of our opinions have come in. Once again, Jimmy the Bag is on the first half over 99. That has moved up, and King Rail agrees with that one. I'm on the Boston first half team total over 48 at +108. There has been some disagreement on that. Some people saying that Boston on their team total unders will be a good play. Some people, including Tomorino Tomor, saying that Boston's going to come out here and try to clamp down on defense instead of to do better on offense. But those are our official picks. Jimmy the Bag, first half over 99, and I'm on the Boston first half team total over 48 at +108. And now let's move on to the NHL game again. You know, a very, very tough series to figure out here. Washington won the first 2 games on the road in dominant fashion. Unbelievable. And now Tampa Bay has won 3 in a row. And interesting line movement here. Jimmy the Bag in the morning took Tampa Bay at +110. Bet365 was still hanging with +110. But there has clearly been a modest but significant line move in favor of Washington. Now the best line would be at BetOnline +119. So there's been about a 15-cent move from the morning show, not from opener, but from the morning show. 15-cent move from the morning show in favor of Washington. And in the morning show, I did give 6 on the under 6 -125. And that line has moved a teeny bit in my favor. Pinnacle now at 6 -127. You know, another interesting game. Jim's taking Tampa Bay.
Yes, I'm taking Tampa Bay, and I just feel like they're freewheeling out there. All the pressure's on the Capitals. Now, I was upset with the comments. I just thought Ovechkin should do more, and he's given a little more. So it wasn't just that simple comment that I read. He has said, you know, this is the most important game of his life and stuff like that. So I'm happy to hear that. But it's not about bringing it on to what it is for you. It's about pushing your team to do more and to try harder and to dig deeper and be better. And that's what he's not doing, and that's what Stamkos is doing. Now, we know all the percentages are in the Lightning's favor. I just feel like this is a spot where the Capitals have so much pressure on them, and it's going to be very difficult to beat a Lightning team that's freewheeling all over the place. Tampa's won 4 straight on the road, 5-1 in the playoffs. They've never lost a playoff game in Washington, and I can understand the late movement, and I expect the Capitals to give it their all, and the Lightning to win. Now, if I was to predict the final score, I think it's going to be, I would probably lean towards the under. I would say it's a 3-2 Lightning final.
Okay, sounds good. I'm definitely on the under as an official pick. Jay Ryan at Citizens Bank Park says, I just got out at Citizens Bank, homies. Good luck, everyone. Slam ticket smells like a Phillies victory out here. Jay Ryan says a Phillies win is in the air, at least based according to his nose. Let's see. What else do we have here? What else do we have? Uh-oh. Observer says, hot pick of the day. Brewers game goes under. You're welcome.
Yeah, everybody. There's nobody who said great play, Jimmy. I'm on that too, so I am a little concerned.
Definitely makes me nervous. Bill Buttlicker says, as a prediction for tonight's NHL game, everyone listen up. All in caps. Bill Buttlicker says, Caps will shit the apple pie tonight. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's he's on your side. He's liking Tampa Bay, right?
But that's not a good thing? The shit apple pie?
That's a terrible. Are you kidding me? I don't know. Is that a good? I have no idea. That's a good question. What is that, a good thing or a bad thing? Are you picking the Caps to win, or are you picking Tampa Bay to win, Bill Buttlicker?
I mean,
I think that's a terrible thing.
Wouldn't you? I mean, what I am
shit the apple pie.
Shit the apple pie.
Oh, all right. No, you might be right there, Jim. I put the emphasis on the pie. You put it on the. You might be right. I think you're right there, Jim. I think you're right.
Nostra Toda is looking for one more player to add to his list of goal scorers for the Lightning. And Mohamed Joma has given him Tyler Johnson, an electric guy, but he just doesn't score enough anymore for me. But he's an electric offensive performer. 3 goals in the 15 playoff games. I would say Braden Point. That would be my guy to add on. He just seems completely connected to everything that's going on offensively, and so that would be my play. Would be
very
Point.
nice.
I just think you're gonna get more value at Point than you would with Kucherov or Stamkos, just because he's not as famous.
Pete's Mustache has a nice comment here. You'll appreciate this, Jim. Pete's Mustache says, "I'm on Tampa, Jimmy, but I'm also on Pete's face."
I like both.
Nice.
I like both.
Nice. Pete's Mustache. Nice line there. All right. So, I'm going to stick with my play on the under. Jim's going to stick with his play on Tampa Bay. We'll see how it turns out. And there was a good comment here that I just quickly wanted to read. Where was it? Where was that comment? Normal Nation likes, I took Vasilevsky over 29.5 saves. Caps throw the sink at him tonight in a losing effort. Not bad.
That's not bad at all,
Yeah.
but we've been expecting Ovechkin to throw this sink at the opposing goalies, and he didn't. And my man Normal Nation, he had some great overs. He had Stamkos over in shots. He did it immediately. He had Ovechkin over in shots, and the over shots were 3.5, and Ovechkin didn't get there last game. And you watch him shoot on the power play, you think he could get 3 shots on any given power play. Darcy Kretchen says Kuznetsov will bag a pair tonight. Tomor says Tampa Bay much deeper. I agree with that.
Mr. Gogster, Tampa Bay puck line, I'm with it. Also, team total over 2.5. Wow.
Yes, and Brent Brooks, as we all want to know what Brooks he's on.
Yeah.
He's such a sharp, doing such incredible work in these playoffs and in the NHL season overall. He's on Tampa Bay Lightning and Tampa team total over 2.5. He's been correlating those plays all playoffs, and they've been hugely successful for him.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Let me see what the team total is right now for Tampa Bay at Pinnacle. Right now, checking it out. Oh, wow. 2.5 minus 125. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
But I took the under. Although those would be, they're anti-correlated, but they'd also hedge each other out a little bit, right?
Yeah, I don't think that you want to hedge out in this spot. But in saying all that, and after all of our talking, I think that the under 6 is the play here. In Tampa Bay, Washington. I really do. I think the whole season's on the line, and they've got to tighten up. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on it. Obviously, anything can happen. Obviously, it could. I think the only way it really as you said, it's like, what if Washington is down like a few goals and then they pull the goalie out like super early and all. I mean, all sorts of. And I could easily see this one 3-3 at the end of regulation. But I'm on the under, Jim.
Yeah, and I guess when I have a 3-2, and Justin seriously likes a 3-2 Tampa score, I guess when and Scotty Rock's all over the under too.
I mean, anything can happen, which we started off this show by saying that's why you don't go all in. That's why you don't overbet your edges. That's why you keep your bets to 1%, 2%, 3%,
I'm on it.
You want it?
I want it.
You sure?
Yes.
All right, let's find the best line. We're going to be able to give you minus 120. Oh, the Greek still has minus 125. All right, so you can get the same line that I got. Under 6, minus 125. That is the current line at the Greek. Washington under 6, minus 125 at the Greek.
I don't feel comfortable with that first 9.5 minutes play. Just because the ice is so pristine and clean, and they don't clog up the neutral zone. I feel like and Mohamed Joma on the under 2. That's nice to know. I just feel like I like the under in this game, but the under 9.5 minutes is just a coin flip that I would like to never make those bets that are just a total coin flip. But under 6, minus 125, I'll add that bet when this show's over, and I feel good about it.
All right, so once again, Jim is on Tampa Bay. A lot of people suggesting that they're liking that play as well. Our famous handicapper, NHL handicapper Brooksy, has had some losses in the NHL, but we can't remember when the last one was. What's he liking? The team total over and Tampa Bay on the money line.
When he loses, it's because Ovechkin scores with a minute and a half left, so he doesn't get the puck line.
Right.
That's him losing. Like that's how it's like he's on the right side, but he gets unlucky to lose. Like he's not. He's He's been exceptional and deserves all the accolades.
Wow. Joe Vasconcelos says Caps are done. I'm all over the Tampa Bay Lightning. JP says Tampa first period. Makara says Caps and the under. Tomarino Tomor, I'd lean under, but teams facing elimination pull their goalies earlier. Yes,
That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
But you know what? If I lose the bet because of a fluke goalie being pulled, I'm going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I was on the right side and that happened.
Darcy Tretian says under hits tonight. Game feels 4-1. Not ballsy enough to predict a shutout. All right. Well, we'll see how it turns out. As always, these are not locks. The edges are small. That's why you bet size appropriately. Once again, think about it in terms of the milk fat in milk. You know, whole milk is 3%. You never want to drink 10% milk. That just make you sick. Bet size appropriately. Skim milk is whatever, 1%. Low-fat milk is whatever it is, 1%. You know, half low-fat milk is 2%. Whole milk is 3%. That's what your bet size should be, except in rare situations. If you really know, sometimes you can go up 5%, 8%. Sometimes the pros do have those big edges, especially with smaller markets like props and player props and stuff like that. So that is defensible. But in general, you want to keep your bet size modest so that you don't wind up losing money, even if you do have a big edge. Jimmy the Bag is on the under tonight. I'm on the under tonight, and Jimmy the Bag is also on Tampa Bay as a small underdog. And is that about it?
That's almost it.
Okay, what else? Oh, shit. That's okay. I forgot about this. All right, here we go. Lucrative Larry's Play of the Future coming up for you right now. Fans of Lucrative Larry, here you go. Larry, about to be in the building. Go ahead. Remember, microphone technique.
Perfect microphone technique. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay.
To win the Stanley Cup at plus 110.
Oh, wow! That pause was for dramatic effect.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, the Tampa Bay right now is plus 110 to win the cup?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow, that's certainly better than you're going to get if they win this Game 6 or Game 7.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. How big of an underdog is Vegas going to be?
I would predict that it'll be a minus 160 plus 140.
Okay. Wow. Vegas just continues to get no respect, even down to the wire. All right, Lucrative Larry has given a futures play. Tampa Bay to win the cup. He is quoting a line of plus 110, and there you go. That's Lucrative Larry's Play of the Future. That it? Jimmy the Bag, anything you want to say before we wrap things up?
The only thing I want to say is I prefer when you stay and Larry has to figure out.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll start doing that. Okay, we'll do that. Well, yeah. You're right. It is. It's better TV. It's better TV if Larry has to like kneel and bounce around a little bit and like be a little bit confused and try to figure out what's going on with the microphones. You're right. Yeah. I apologize. Yes. Thank you very much.
Tomor says the line is out. So I was off. What did I say? It said minus 160 plus 140. Tomor says it's minus 135 plus 115.
Okay. All right. So that's a little bit more respect that Vegas should be getting. But okay, we'll see how this turns out. We will be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time. Thanks so much as always, guys.